So let's talk about Sukuna in this one, everything that we know so far, but that being said, let me also mention that like we don't know everything about this character yet. There's a lot of details that are missing that I'm sure will be revealed later on. But for now, let's just go over non-spoilery stuff. I'll just go over the surface level things, and then I'll go into spoiler stuff after I give a warning. So within the series itself, the legend goes that Ryomen Sukuna with 4 arms and 2 faces is a demon of legend. The truth is, he was a human who actually existed, but that was over 1,000 years ago. So I guess he would have been considered a curse user, not like a sorcerer. But anyway, in the Golden Age of Jujutsu sorcerers had sharpened their skills against him, but were ultimately defeated. With the title of Ryomen Sukuna, he would traverse the ages after his death as a cursed object. Jujutsu sorcerers weren't able to destroy his remains preserved in their own grave wax. So the remains are his fingers, of course, and we'll go into that. But first, let's go over why he's a cursed spirit right now. So Sukuna is classified as a vengeful cursed spirit, and that's basically a cursed spirit created when humans become a curse after death. And sorcerers have an increased chance of turning into a curse after death, but this can be prevented through jujutsu. So yeah, because Sukuna was so powerful and seemed to have exceptional levels of cursed energy, him dying led him to becoming a cursed spirit, and also a vengeful one at that. And as stated, it can be prevented through jujutsu, but we don't know the circumstances revolving Sukuna's death yet. That goes back to what I was saying about how we don't know everything about this guy yet, at least within the lore of the series. Sukuna himself is based off of existing Japanese mythology, and that character is already fleshed out and everything. And I'm sure more or less it's going to be based off of that to some degree. But until the actual series reveals everything revolving him, we just don't know yet. But now let's go over his fingers, the cursed objects that are like one of the main plot points of the series right now. So these are the remnants of his original body, and there's 20 of them because he apparently had 4 arms. And as stated, they're just so powerful that you just can't destroy them, so the only thing they could do is really put seals on them to try to contain them, because they have like immense cursed energy emanating from them, and it attracts cursed spirits. I mean, we've seen in the series so far that like just them being exposed can like generate a special grade cursed spirit. But since Sukuna is so powerful and special, he can choose the vessel that he wants. Like, if you consume the finger, you know, you can either become him or you just die. Other than that, I guess we can go over what he looked like. Like I said, he has like 4 arms apparently, and like 2 sets of eyes. And aside from his appearance, we can gather from him as a person, he's really evil and sadistic. He also has like this cerebral side to him, as well as like some sort of level of curiosity. He's just overall a pretty interesting character. But I guess that's it for now, because I'm gonna start going into spoiler stuff, things that haven't happened in the anime yet. So if you don't want to know what's going to happen, I suggest you check out now. So now I guess we can go further into what he actually looked like, you know, back in the day. And he does in fact have 4 arms and kind of like 2 faces. Not really sure. It looks like he has like a part of a mask on or something. And he does have 4 eyes as well. It's not really explained why he looks like this if he was in fact a human and not just a cursed spirit. Because if he was a cursed spirit, it would just make sense why he looks like this. But since he wasn't always, I guess it has something to do with his abilities. And we'll go into that because it's implied that Sukuna is on like some next level jujutsu. Some stuff that like not even special grade cursed spirits like Jogo are even aware of apparently. But yeah, let's just go into his abilities now. So unfortunately, we don't know what his exact curse technique is because he never really reveals it. Because up until this point, we the audience, along with Jogo himself, has already assumed what his technique was. Like what Jogo says, you know, isn't Sukuna's curse technique slicing and slashing everything? And Sukuna says, don't worry, I won't cheat by revealing my curse technique. So yeah, like I said, it's still a mystery what this is. And apparently it's one of the more nuanced curse techniques, I guess, which there are quite a few of, so it's understandable. But let's go over the things that we've seen that he is capable of. So his default ability is Dismantle. And it's just like, I guess, using cursed energy as like a blade. And he could just, you know, cut you with it. it however he wants. And then his other attack like this is called Cleave, which can be adjusted depending on the target's toughness and cursed energy level to cut them down in one fell swoop. And like I said, those are just the primary things that we see Sukuna being capable of. But also, another thing that was kind of recently revealed is that he has some kind of like fire manipulation ability. And this also goes back to what I was saying about him knowing like next level, jujitsu that not even like Jogo is aware of, because once he reveals that he has like some kind of flame manipulation, he says, "Oh, that's right, I thought you'd know about this, but I suppose a cursed spirit wouldn't." And by doing like this flame manipulation, he can create like a bow and arrow out of it. And this also goes back to the existing Japanese mythology about Sukuna, where it says that like he has multiple weapons, some being a sword, some being like a bow and arrow. I guess that goes with his Dismantle and Cleave, and then this is like the bow and arrow aspect of the original legend. And I'm sure he has more weapons than just that, because before when we were talking about like what his appearance actually looked like, he has some kind of spear. So if that's not Dismantle or Cleave, then that could be something else. And with all of that being said, he can of course also use reverse curse technique. We saw him, regenerate Yuji's arm very easily. It's understandable that he could do this considering how far along he is on the Jujutsu power scale. He can also use binding vows, but that's not too outrageous. That seems to be kind of standard. But what's not standard is his domain expansion, which we'll talk about now. So this is called Malevolent Shrine. So it says that Malevolent Shrine differs from other types of domain expansion in that it doesn't create a separate space using a barrier. It's like the typical foundation that we've seen of domain expansion so far. They'll create like that area around you and then you're just pretty much trapped within that. But Malevolent Shrine is not using that principle, because apparently by allowing an escape route, a binding vow is formed which vastly increases the guaranteed hit's effective area with a maximum radius of nearly 200 meters, which is like about 656 feet. Then once this radius is established, he pretty much just destroys everything within it with using his, slashing abilities. Like for anything with cursed energy within the range, Cleave is used, and for inanimate objects, Dismantle is used. Until Malevolent Shrine is gone, it will relentlessly attack all targets within its guaranteed hits effective range. And when we see this happening, the area of the city that it's affecting is just being destroyed. And all of the people within it pretty much. Like this is one of the craziest displays of power we've seen in the series so far. It's just so like, when this happens. But yeah, I guess that's all of Sukuna's abilities we've seen so far, or at least the major ones. I'm sure this is only the beginning of what he's truly capable of, considering that, even currently he only has 15 fingers within Yuji. So, once he gets all 20, then we'll start seeing some really crazy stuff. So another little interesting thing that was revealed about Sukuna recently is that he apparently knows who Arame is and vice versa. And Arame refers to Sukuna as master. And Sukuna actually gives orders to them saying that like, it won't be much longer until I'm completely free. Don't neglect your preparations. I'll see you later. We don't know what all this means yet, but eventually we will. But also regarding Sukuna's plans, which aren't entirely known yet. He does have some kind of purpose for Fushiguro. Like he straight up defeats Maharaga so that he can keep Fushiguro around for some greater purpose that he has for him. Again, it is unknown, but it's still important because this is like a big element of Sukuna's game. And like I said, Yuji currently has 15 of his fingers within him, not 20 yet, but even at 15, he's still, easily one of the strongest characters already. But that's it for now. Let me know what you think about Sukuna in the comments. What do you think his ultimate goal is, other than the obvious stuff? Let me know. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.